I cold called every single day. I door knocked every single day. I did 2 open houses every single day. I ended up selling $30 million in my first year. I was driving down the street. Someone made an illegal left-hand turn and T-boned me. And at that moment, my career was over. I didn't realize it yet. I had a teacher in high school make me write on the wall, "Would you like fries with that, sir?"
Welcome back to Real Estate and Chill. As always, it's another $1 million episode all the way from Cali. We got my guy Cyrus in the building. Make some noise. Let's go.
What's up, bro? Man,
What's going on,
huh?
man?
Hell yeah, dude.
Come on, man. It's a $1 million episode. Appreciate you being here. There you go. There you go. Let the money go.
That's tight. We got to slow-mo that, all right?
Broker owner, coach, mentor, speaker. I mean, you do it all, man. Ex-professional soccer player.
Yes, sir.
Let's dive into a little bit about your background, man. If you give our audience some insight.
Yeah, bro. I mean, background, I can start all the way from when I was, the best way to start it, to be honest, is from when I was little. Like, because I think that success breeds success. And if we understand people's backgrounds, we can also understand how people got to where they're at, and hopefully it'll help somebody else. You know what I mean? So I'll rewind all the way to back when I was like, literally 10 years old. My grandma, my uncle, and my dad. So my mom's mom, my mom's brother, and then my mom's husband all passed away in the same year.
Oh, man. That's tough. I'm sorry.
So it was January, my grandma passed away. October 29th, my uncle passed away. And then October 29th, the following year, my dad went in the hospital, passed away on November 1st.
And you were 10 years old?
I was 11 years old at the time that my dad passed away, yeah.
Man, I'm sorry to hear that.
And so before that happened, I wanted to be I would always say I wanted to be a working man. That's what I would say. I want to be a working man. I wanted to be then I changed it to like, I want to be a building man. Then it was like, I want to be an architect. Then my uncle was like, no, you want to be an architectural engineer. I was like, okay, that's what I want to be. So like all growing up, I'd be like, I want to be an architectural engineer. I was like 6 years old. You know what I mean? Like not even knowing what the heck that was. And then when my dad passed away, when my uncle passed away, really was like, it was kind of one of those, like, that was my favorite person in the world. Like my absolute favorite person in the world. When he passed away, it was really like I remember walking out the door, or running out the door crying when my family told me, and I ran out the door and I was crying, and my dad came and grabbed me and he was like, "It's okay, it'll be okay, blah blah blah." And I goes, "No, like you don't understand, like we didn't finish our video game because we would play video games together all the time."
Yeah.
But that, as a kid, it was just like understanding like how like that things are gonna go unfinished, right? Like it was always this thought process. And so that's what hurt me so much, is that like I wanted more time, right? And then when my dad passed away, I didn't, like, when all of this was happening, I didn't want to do anything. Like the only thing that took my mind off of everything that was going on at home was playing soccer. By the way, like I was not good at all at this point. Like I liked being on the field. I liked doing it. It was a challenge for me. So that's what I did. I went and I was training every day. And then I found out, I tried out. So I was playing like a rec league. And then I wanted to play clubs. So I just started picking up the phone. I went online. I went on the computer, started looking up club soccer teams. And then I was making phone calls to these coaches. And I was like, I want to play club soccer. So I called these coaches. My mom, by the way, after my dad passed away, started working 6 jobs to keep the house over her head. I'm the last of 5 kids.
Wow.
And so we went from like literally having everything to having nothing when my dad passed away, right? You got to think, like my mom's an amazing human being. My mom lost her mom, lost her brother, then lost her husband all in the same year. And then instead of sitting there and saying, you know what, forget this, she stepped at the plate and just started working nonstop to make sure that we were good, right? She went into full on, like, I'm going to make sure that my family's taken care of.
Survival mode.
Survival mode, exactly.
Yeah, survival mode.
And so when that was going on, my mom's, it was actually the first time that I like started thinking about other people versus thinking about myself. You know, it was the first time that I thought about like, I want to make my mom's life easier, right? So everything that I did, I tried to do it on my own, right? I tried to, for instance, like I was saying, like I want to play club soccer. I went online, I Googled, or I don't even know what I did. I searched online. Maybe at the time it was Ask Jeeves, you know?
That's major throwback.
You know what I mean? Who knows what it was? But I remember going online and looking up club soccer teams in the area and then scrolling to the bottom of the page and finding the coaches' numbers and calling the coaches and saying, hey, my name's Cyrus. I'm 12 years old or 11 years old. I want to play club soccer. I'd like to play for your team. And every coach would be like, okay, put your dad on the phone. I'm like, well, I can't. My dad's dead. They're, okay, put your mom on the phone. Well, my mom's working. Okay, tell her to call us back later. So I just kept picking up the freaking phone.
How old are you at this one?
I was like 12 years old.
Dang.
I just was Googling every team in my area that wanted, because I knew I wanted to play soccer.
Yeah,
and I wanted to play club. Because I knew like that was like the next path to play pro. I didn't even know that I could play pro at this time. It was just because I knew that I wanted to play soccer and and all the kids at the school were playing club soccer. And that was where all the kids that were really good were playing. So I was like, I want to play club. So I went and I kept calling these coaches. And then finally one of the coaches goes, okay, yeah, you could come to training. Thank you for calling. You could come to training at this time. Then I'm like,
the opportunity.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
But then I'm like, how am I gonna get there? Right? So I actually like, it's so funny because I actually, as I'm processing, so I was at one of my best friend's weddings. That's why I'm here in New York right now. And I just processed. So I was the best man, and he had 3 different best men. So that was like his thing. We're like all like grew up together. We're like all best friends, right? And he one of the other ones, Mark, he was one of the guys that I called because I'm like, how the hell am I going to get to practice? Like now I got to figure out how to get there. So I called Mark. I was like, hey, Mark, don't you want to try out for this club team? And at the time, Mark didn't want it, right? Like Mark's like, no, like I don't want to do this. I'm just like, come on, dude, you're really good, you know? And the other day, bro, he gave his speech at the wedding, and I'm having the whole realization right now. He gave his speech at the wedding, and he was like, Cyrus, and he basically was saying how like my buddy Ryan helped him get out of shell, and he's like, Cyrus and Ryan helped me really like know to be who I am, right? And then when he sat down next to me, he goes, no, Cyrus, like seriously, thank you. Like if you didn't push me to do that, I wouldn't be where I'm at, blah, blah, blah. So now I'm processing this that actually like, you know, I'm a big believer in like the butterfly effect. Like the reason that we were at that table was because of, you know, my dad passing away and me having to make those freaking phone calls to those clubs. And then a coach invited me to training. What a trip.
And then you sold Mark on that.
And then I sold Mark, yeah. So that was the whole thing. I sold Mark. I'm like, yo, dude, you want to play? Like, blah, blah, blah. But your mom's got to take us.
So you've been selling.
Yeah, dude. So then we go to practice, whatever. So we make the club team. And again, I wasn't good. Like I didn't even play. And I go to, but that coach had played pro in Argentina or something like that. I don't remember where he played. He played pro somewhere. And I remember being like, looking at him and like, being like, he's a normal guy. In my mind, I think I thought like these pro athletes, these ultra successful people were all like these gods. You know what I mean? You
like
put these
superhuman?
Yeah. You put these successful people, right, on this pedestal, and you look at them and you look at these professional athletes and you think they're superhumans. Oh, I can't do that because they're born that way or they're, you know, whatever. And when I realized he had played pro, I was like, wait a second, I want to play pro. It was the first realization that I could do something like that if I really, really, truly put my mind to it. My mom would always say that, if you put your mind to it, you could do anything. But like, I was like, yeah, but I can't be a professional athlete. Or what? That wasn't in my thought process. So that was the time that I decided to play pro soccer, right? It was like, I was like 12 years old. I met this coach. I wasn't playing. I wasn't good, but I was like, I can play pro. Like, if this guy can do it, I can do it. And then I got cut from the club team.
Oof.
And that was devastating, right? Because I made the club team. It was like a year into it, and then I get cut. And so I'd go back to the same thing, calling all these coaches. Then I found out like these players were training, were going to go try out for this team. So I was like, all right, I'm going to go try out for this team, right? Same thing, like, Mark, come on, dude, you got to go try out for this team. You know, and fast forward, you know, I trained, once I made that decision to play, that I wanted to play pro soccer, it was a thing that got my mind off of everything that was going on, but also like it was something that I saw like, okay, if I do this, then I can eventually pay my mom's house off. I could do this, I could do that, right? So that was my way out. So what I did was I just trained. I trained every morning before school. I trained after school. I trained after school. You know, like I was just nonstop. I was like, this is what I'm doing and this is how I'm doing it. And when I was 18 years old, I moved to Europe. I ended up playing professional soccer. I played in Europe. I played in Costa Rica. I played here in the U.S. I ended up playing all around the world, and then moved back. So during every single off season, I went through some sort of like school. Like one year I went to French class. Another year I went to Italian class. I failed both of those. So I realized like languages weren't my thing, but I love learning. I hate school, but I love learning. So every single offseason, I wanted to do something. And so I was coming home from Europe to come play in LA. And I knew I was going to sign a big contract. And I knew when I signed that big contract, I'm going to buy a house. Because that was always the goal, right? Buy real estate. This thought process, like from when I was young, we moved into, I think it was like 3 weeks. I don't remember. I just did a podcast interviewing my mom, and she told me how old I was when we moved in. I think it was like 3 weeks when we moved into the house that my mom still lives in. So having that stable environment was really big for me, right? So when I was gonna sign this big contract, I knew I want to buy a house. Like I knew I needed to do that. But when I was really young, I remember I didn't want to do math class. I didn't want to do math in school. I was like, I don't know. It was like when you start doing math, like kindergarten or first grade or something like that, right? Yeah. I hated it. And I remember going home and not wanting to do my homework. Again, I've always hated school. Like, and my mom will attest to this. Like, I've never liked school since I was little. And I think it was from something like people telling me what to do. You know what I mean?
Authority.
You know what I mean?
Little rebellion.
Yeah, exactly. So I was, I was little, and I remember coming home and not wanting to do my math homework, and my dad sitting me down and being like, well, how are you going to count your money when you start making money? And I looked at him and I was like, I'll hire someone to do that. Like, what do you mean? Well, how am I going to count my money? Somebody else will do it for me. And he goes, yeah, but how do you know they're not going to take advantage of you? Right? And I was probably like 6 or 7. Like I was little. And I actually made this epiphany like maybe like only 2 months ago that was the reason that I said, oh, I want to get my real estate license. I want to go to real estate school. Not because I wanted to be a real estate agent. Like real estate agents are boring, they're annoying, and they're assholes. So I'm like, why would I want to be a real estate agent, right? That was my thought process, right? And so I wanted to just get my real estate. I wanted to go to real estate school so that when I bought my house, I wouldn't be taken advantage of. That I knew what I was doing.
So you had the knowledge. Basically.
So I had the knowledge.
Yeah.
That's all I was going for. Little did I know, like, real estate school has nothing to do with practice. You know what I mean? Like, nothing.
The books, it's different when you're in the field.
It's a whole different
thing. It's a whole
thing.
Other level, yeah.
Right? You can go study it all you want, but once you're in it, it's a
yeah.
whole different thing. It's like learning how to swim right here and then going jumping in the ocean. Like, you're probably not going to win.
It's not the same.
You know? And so I was going to real estate school during this specific off season. Came home to play in LA and then got in a car accident.
You got a car accident?
And I was driving down the street. Someone made an illegal left-hand turn and T-boned me.
Oh man, I'm assuming you got injured.
Yeah, and at that moment, my career was over. I didn't realize it yet.
What did you injure?
Lower back.
Oh man.
So I walked out of the accident. The next morning, I couldn't sit up. right? And then I went through this whole identity crisis because I thought people loved me for what I did, not for who I was. Or you get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I thought
yeah.
they loved me because I was a soccer player.
Right.
Right? Cyrus, the soccer player.
The recognition that comes with it.
Correct.
Yeah.
My whole identity was in that from when I was little.
Yeah.
My identity was Cyrus, the soccer player.
I think it's because you wanted it so much, right?
100%.
You were so determined, and then once you had it, and the unfortunate situation happened, it's like, but this is what I've been training for my whole life.
Yep, 100%. And then I'm like, what the hell am I going to do with my life? I didn't go to college. My all growing up, I mean, like in high school and everything, when I didn't want to go to school, I was skipping school, yada, yada, like, all growing up, I had freaking people, my counselors telling me, Cyrus, you need a backup plan. Everyone's telling you need a backup plan. Oh, you should go to college, yada, yada. And I just kept telling people no. And my counselor, Cyrus, you need a backup plan. I was like, backup plan's an excuse to fail. Like, I don't need a backup plan. I'm all in.
Yeah,
like,
I'm the
I'm
same
going
way,
pro.
man.
Like that's it. Period. Like, I understand maybe it didn't work for you and whatever, but me, I'm going. And then I didn't fail, but I felt like I failed. I felt like I failed when I got in that car accident. And this is so important to understand because I 100% didn't fail, but I thought I failed because I wasn't playing pro anymore. So I was like ashamed of it. And then I thought people didn't love me. And so I like totally isolated myself. I went through a whole identity crisis, super depressed. I had thoughts and plans to kill myself. And I had this coach that just kept freaking calling me. And he kept calling me, he kept calling me, he kept calling me. And finally one day I was just like pissed off. It was like I was just pissed off at the world. I had my whole game plan how I was going to do it. And he calls me and I look at the freaking phone and I'm like, you know what? Screw this. I answer. I'm like, what the, I use different language. I'm like, what the hell, Chris? What do you want? Like I'm not playing soccer anymore. Like, leave me alone. Bunch of F-bombs in between all of that, And he goes, I know you're not effing playing soccer ever again. Get over yourself. I'm calling you because I want to see if you want to grab lunch. And at that moment, it was like this like light bulb. It was like, this guy cares about me. He doesn't care about me because I was a soccer player, because I paid him to train me. He was my personal trainer for years. He didn't care about me because of what I was bringing. Oh, because when I play soccer and I'm playing pro, he gets to use my name. He didn't care about me for any of that. He just cared about me. And it was that one person that made that freaking phone call that like completely made me like realize like this guy, like people care about me. And so, as I'm going through all of this, I end up grabbing lunch, yada, yada. And as I'm going through all of this, I'm like, what the hell am I going to do with my life now? Like, I didn't go to college. I didn't study anything. So I like go try to take some college classes. That didn't work out. I hate school. I'm like, what the hell? So I was like, you know what? Screw it. I'm gonna get into real estate. Like, I finished my classes. I was sitting on the back of my now business partner's yacht, by the way, and I'm sitting there and I'm talking to him and I'm like, I think I'm gonna get into real estate, Jack. And Jack goes, how do you think I paid for this? I'm like, you were in real what? Like, I've known this guy for years. Years. He was a mentor of mine for years. And I'm like, what? He goes, yeah. Like, that's how I have all of this. I was like, cool. You're going to help me get into real estate. And he's like, no, I'm retired. Like, no thanks. And he'll tell the story the same thing. He's like, oh, I just figured I might as well do it and get a bigger yacht so I could put my grand piano on it. Like, that's literally what he said, right? And so that's how I ended up getting in real estate, like, because I didn't know what else I was going to do with my life. So I ended up getting into real estate, and then from there, it was just the easiest thing in my life, and that was it. That was the end of the story.
Yeah, like I said before, like I feel like, when you're like a little kid and they ask you like, what do you want to be when you grow up? And you see the yearbook and everybody's like firefighter, policeman. Nobody ever says like real estate agent.
Yeah,
like,
no,
it's just
never.
not there. I feel like it's a career that you just fall into because you just like
Well, and I was like talking to one of my friends the other day about this. Well, she was thinking about getting in real estate. She's like a really like well-known model, and like she's like she models forever. Like, I mean, she does like $50,000 days. You know what I mean? Like, and she was like, think about getting in real estate or whatever. And I was like, yeah, you should. Blah blah. She goes, yeah, but like then like once I do that, there's no going back. I was like, what do you mean? Like, you'd crush it. And she's like, yeah, but like it's the fallback career. And I just started laughing. I was like, yeah, but what if the fallback career is like the start of everything else? You know what I mean? Like real estate completely changed my life. That like
same here.
You know, like that year, dude, like I got into real estate, and it was not the easiest thing of my life, right? Like I said that as a joke, right? Like it 100% wasn't. But it completely changed my life, because I got into real estate and I knew no one. I knew nothing about real estate. I didn't know how anything worked. You know,
we have a similar story. I literally just posted that something on my page the other day. Like same thing. I started off with a team, mentor, coach.
Bro, nothing.
I didn't know a single soul in the business.
Nothing.
I was dead broke.
Yeah.
You know, and I had again, I went to college, dropped out. There's no plan B. I'm like, you know what? I got to give this my 110%. I have to make this work.
Hell yeah.
And, you know, again, the rest is history.
Yeah. And
I think when you're really driven, you're motivated, you have that ambition. And I'm overly ambitious. Like,
yeah.
I'm my toughest critic. Like, once I accomplish something great, I'm like, all right, but there's something greater I can do.
Yep. That's a dangerous rabbit hole too, right? Like I've been going like this is a whole different topic, but like I've worked through that over the last couple years, because my biggest goal in life, I had two really big goals, were like buy my mom pay my mom's house off and buy myself a G63 AMG Mercedes-Benz matte black, you know, all red interior, yada yada. Like a couple years ago, I did it all. I did both. And then
amazing.
Literally, bro, I was like, now what? Because you hit these goals that you make yourself, and like these overly ambitious people, like who we are, like we want to accomplish the next thing. And then I realized, like, there's always going to be a next thing.
You got to soak up in the moment. I that's something that I'm trying to work on as well.
Yeah.
Because I don't give myself enough credit. And I'm sure if you're overly ambitious, same thing. It's like, all right, what's the next big move?
Yep.
You know?
And it always will be there. Like, you're always going to be this, like until you finally realize, like, what I have, I'm good. Like, because I don't know what the psychology behind it is. I don't know what, like, how, what it is, to be honest. But like, I do know that it was probably stemming from my scarcity of what I had growing up, and then me not wanting to ever lose that. And like, I remember, like, maybe a couple years ago, I realized, like, I was like, wait, like, I had a great childhood. Like, if I didn't have that, I wouldn't be where I'm at right now. Right. And then, like, making those realizations and being okay with those realizations made me be more comfortable being like, look, like realizing, like, I was talking to one of my friends the other day on his podcast, actually, and it was like, I just realized I didn't need to be a billionaire. Like I think I was always chasing, like, I have to be a billionaire. I have to be a millionaire. I have to do this. Then I realized, like, I don't need to be it. And like taking that load off, like realizing, like, I could right now at this moment, I could step out and go ghost, and I'd have a great life. Nobody know where Cyrus went. Nobody know what, but I'd have a great life. I'd be able to have my family, raise my kids, yada, yada, blah, blah, blah. I'd be good. Everything's paid for. I'm good. And realizing that made me be like, oh, shoot, like, I don't need to be on this freaking hamster wheel. You know, like chasing, because it's freaking exhausting.
Mentally.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah. It's draining. I'm not going to lie. Like I said, I'm my toughest critic. So you mentioned before, like, scarcity. I'm assuming, like, growing up wise, did you guys have much? Did you have much growing up, or?
Before my dad passed away, we had everything.
Everything. Okay, you mentioned that, and then you lost it all.
When my dad passed away, so my dad owned a couple different car dealerships. And when my dad passed away, we lost all of them. We lost everything.
It's different when you're up here and then you just fall
Oh,
down here,
100%.
it's different.
And you know what? Like as I've gotten older, as I've seen what's happened with my life and so on and so forth, it's easier always looking outside in. But like I'm a huge believer in everything happens for a reason. And every single time someone asks me like, what's the best thing that ever happened to you and what's the worst thing that ever happened to you, right? Like I'll always say the same thing: is my dad passing away. My dad was an amazing human being. My dad was an amazing father. My dad was the most loving, most caring. Like I'm telling you, was the perfect role model for that thought process. But if he didn't pass away, I don't know where I'd be. Like I'd probably be this spoiled kid, you know, like that entitled and yada yada. Like I don't think I would be the way that I am now. I wouldn't be thinking the way I think. I wouldn't be operating how I operate. I'd be doing something else. And so I have to also be thankful for the things that, you know, I felt like weren't at the time, like why. I was asking why. Now it's like I have to be thankful for those things because it made me who I am today. And, you know, down to like I told you right before this, my brother-in-law passed away, 7-8 years ago. And like that was horrible. Left my sister with 4 kids.
Wow.
You know, but I'm talk to my niece every freaking day. I'm with her all the time. We have this amazing relationship. I wouldn't have that if my brother-in-law was around. And so I have to be thankful that my brother-in-law passed away at the same time that it was one of the worst things that ever happened to me. It never happened to my niece and my nephews and my sister, right? So like I think that there's always this thing that like we have these like you know things that happen in our lives that are so horrible, and it's all perspective though. Because at the end of the day, I don't know if it's now in my lifetime, but this is how I get through it, right? Like if it's in my lifetime or the lifetime after, and I'm passed away or whatever, and that whatever that good is comes into fruition at that point, then like, but I have to have faith that there's something good coming out of everything. You know what I mean?
Like I've been through a lot in my life, and just, you know, losing friends, close friends to me, and you know, obviously it hurts, right? It's something that you don't expect. Nobody expects to lose somebody around your age. You know what I mean? It's tough, but at the same time, I'm like, wow. I believe everything happens for a reason as well. And if I was still hanging around with this individual, that could have been me. Yep. You know what I mean? So it's very mind-boggling to look outside looking in and look at the bigger picture. But I just feel like, you know, I'm blessed to be here, man.
100%.
You know, and I think the hardships that we go through really mold us, you know.
Oh, 100%.
And I think with Instagram and everybody's showing their best life and it's all a highlight reel, it's hard to seep through the BS and to see what's real and what's not. But I'm happy of everything that I've been through, same like you know, because it just molded me who I am today, and builds your character, you know. Like you've accomplished amazing things. You're 30 under 30. Yeah. And that's nationwide? Yeah. That's nationwide. For me, I was top 20 under 40, and I like when that happened, I was like crying, bro. I was mind boggled because you don't understand. Like I didn't have much growing up. Like we didn't, you know, I was wearing hand-me-downs. You know, borrowing my brother's shoes. He's like 5'8", 200 something pounds, and he was like an double XL. I'm like a extra small, and I'm wearing his shirts, his jeans, and everything. You know, just because back in the day, this is how to look. But I'm like, man, I'm just a kid that came up with like nothing, man. Just living in my mama's basement, just so self-motivated and driven, and look how much I've accomplished, you know? Yeah. And I just soak it all in. And one of my best places to go to is like the beach, man. Like the beach, I just like sit there and just reflect and just
close your eyes, listen to the waves.
Yeah, just so grateful to be where I am, because again, it's like, man, like anything is possible.
Well, it's crazy too, like that thought process, like any time that, you know, I'm a big believer in ego is the devil.
100%. I mean, I've seen egos destroy relationships, business relationships.
Everything.
You destroy yourself.
It destroys everything.
Yeah, everything.
And then you look at like, how do you kill ego? And like, I believe like you have to kill, we're naturally born with ego. We naturally have ego. You know, when we walk out, that's why jealousy exists. That's why, you know,
100%.
Partnerships, you know, fail, yada, yada. And so we have to think about, how do we kill ego? And how you kill ego is gratitude on a daily basis, right? And it's also realizing, like, when you walk out this door and you're walking down the street, or you're driving by somebody and somebody cuts you off and flips you off. It happened to me on the way here.
New York, welcome back.
Yeah, exactly. Honk every 2 seconds, you know? Like, everybody's dealing with something.
Yeah.
Like, and that's a trip, because sometimes we get so caught up in, like, how we feel, right? That we forget that, like, every single person we pass by is dealing with something. And, like, I was talking to someone the other day at lunch, and I was talking about this concept, and there was a little 8-year-old girl to the left. And I'm like, that little girl, like, she's dealing with something right now. We don't know what it is, but to her, it's a big deal.
Yeah.
It's not a big deal to us. We'd be like, oh, come on, you know, you just left your stuffed animal at home, you know? But to her, that's a huge deal. And if we can understand that every single person that we interact with on a daily basis is dealing with something, then hopefully we can have more gratitude for what we do have in our lives. And then also, like, have more grace for people around us, which is going to make the world a better place anyways.
Yeah.
That's what we're here for anyways. You know what I mean?
I agree. But again, going back and circling back to your achievements, like 30 under 30, that's amazing. They're like, that's not easy to achieve. And you've accomplished all this just from, again, similar backgrounds, just getting on the phones.
100%, bro.
And I always tell people there's so much opportunity, so much money to be made on the phones. And you know what mind boggles me is that there's people who are so scared. And it's like, what are you scared of? Like, either the person's going to tell you no, or they're going to tell you yes. Either way, you don't know until you make the call.
Well, dude, I'll tell you what. So, like you, I've said it like 10 times during this podcast. Like, I hate school, love learning. There are our education system is built on A's are good, F's are bad. F is for failure, and if you get an F, you're a bad kid. You're not going to be anything.
You're dumb.
You're stupid.
Yeah.
You're going to work at. I had a teacher in high school make me go on the front of the classroom and write on the wall, "Would you like fries with that, sir?"
What the heck? That's so disrespectful.
Correct. And I went up there, I said, you know what, screw this. And I left the class. And because F's are bad. Failure, and he said that's what you're going to end up saying, so you might as well practice it. That's what he told me. And that's what we're taught growing up, is that if we fail, it's a bad thing. And so when people go and you say, hey, jump on the freaking phones, hey, go door knock, go do this, they are scared to fail because their whole lives they are told they should not fail. When failure is the fastest route to success.
You learn in the trials and tribulations from your mistakes.
100%.
And look, failure is part of success. The thing with me, and I would always told myself, is failure is not an option. Like, I'm going to fail, but I'm not going to be in failure.
Correct.
I'm going to succeed through anything.
100%. And that's the whole perspective, right? Like, think about it like this, bro. Like your thought process with failure is like, I'll never fail because I'll never stop. The only time you fail is when you truly decide I'm giving up.
You fail when you quit.
Correct. Because other than that, you're just learning the whole time. You know, I tell people the reason that I've had so much success so fast is strictly because I started and I failed 12 times before you even started. Because you were worried about, I want to get it right so I don't fail. I've just gone and said, you know what, screw it. If I fall on my face, like, I'm still falling forward. As long as I fall forward, I'm flat on my face and I'm moving forward. Like, I'm good.
Man, I used to go to listing appointments by myself because I was just so hungry, so motivated to get a listing, to be successful. Like, once I get my first one, like, I just need the opportunity, and I wouldn't get it.
Yep.
And I would go to so many. I'm like, damn, all right, there's something I'm not doing, or there's something that they're not believing in me.
Yeah.
I'm not conveying the right value, and I'm not educated enough. So then that's when I doubled down. I was like, I need to get educated. I need to be knowledgeable. I need to be personable. I need to be confident, right? And I mean, I have tattooed lips on my neck, bro, like hand tattoos and everything.
Yeah.
I used to cover them all up because I was just like so insecure. In our industry, it's not the norm.
Yeah, 100%.
Right? And I was like, you know what though? I'm going to get so educated, so comfortable in my skin, that it doesn't matter what I look like. And again, this was me just battling within myself, you know, my insecurities and holding myself back, fear of rejection, like that nobody's going to want to work with me. And I was like 26. I was like 130 soaking wet when I first got into the business, you know? I looked like I was straight out of high school. Some lady told me that. She's like, no, aren't you like straight out of high school? I'm like, no. I was like, I wish. But I think what you tell yourself and how you prepare yourself mentally ultimately is going to lead to your success.
Oh, 100%. Well, it's also like this whole thought process is like, you know, the 5 people you're closest with are going to determine your net worth. Like the 5 people you're closest with also determine your mindset. And so like if you're around a lot of people that say, oh, no, you have to be this way and you have to do this and this is how you have to do it and so on and so forth, what ends up happening is you believe that you can't have tattoos and sell multi-million-dollar listings. But you believe you can't walk into a listing appointment with a hoodie on because you're told that it's not the right way to do things.
It's not the norm.
Correct.
Right? Society-wise.
Correct.
And again, that's for me. I didn't see anybody who looked like me. So I was like, yo, I'm gonna become a one of one. And I just had faith. I didn't have a plan B. I dropped out of college. I got fired right before I got my real estate license. Like everything that I was going through was just like pushing me to go like full force. And I was like, you know what? I have to make this happen. I don't have any choice. What else am I gonna do?
I love that.
How tall are you?
6'6".
6'6". Sheesh. I can't play ball. Like I'm too short to play ball. What's that short play that used to play ball back in the day?
Allen Iverson?
No, Allen Iverson. No, before that, he was in what was he in Space Jam? No, I'm not. What was his name? Short dude. No. Short dude. Wasn't he in Space Jam? I feel like
I don't remember.
I'll think of his name eventually.
It'll come to both of us at the same time.
It'll come to me. But he was short. He was like 5'2", 5'3", and playing ball.
Yeah, I don't remember.
But it just goes to show you that your mindset is so much bigger than.
Oh, 100%. 100%, dude. I mean, and so like going back to those calls, like, so remember, I felt like I had failed in soccer, right? Like, so my first year in real estate, I didn't tell anybody I was in real estate. Like all my friends and family, I didn't tell anybody I was in real estate because I felt like people are just used to me being success. Like I had this false narrative in my mind. People are used to me being successful. I'm a successful person. I'm a successful this, but I'm not successful. I failed, and so I can't show people that. I'll show people that I'm in real estate when I'm successful at it, which was stupid.
It's funny you said that. I thought the same way in the beginning of my career.
Yep.
So I'll let you continue, but I was in the same mindset.
I had this whole thought process, and so then I'm like, how the hell am I going to be successful in this? I don't know what the hell I'm doing. So I started listening to every single podcast, every single freaking audio book, because I can't read. Like I can read. I know how to read. Okay. I just don't have the mental capacity to sit there and read a book.
I'm on Audible all the time.
Exactly. Audible. I'll do 5-6 books a month on Audible. I can't open a book. Like it just doesn't work for me. So podcasts, Audible, freaking YouTube videos. I mean, everything you can think about that I'm trying to consume as much knowledge as I can to understand how to do this business. And so I was like, well, like, you know, all the best agents are cold calling. All the best agents have door knocked. And all the best agents are saying doing open houses. Those are 3 things that people were doing that I'm like, okay, these are all the, like every top agent that I was looking at did one of those things. So I was like, I'm going to do all 3.
And they're very cost effective.
It's super cost effective. And I'm like, I'm going to do all 3. That's it, period. So what I did was I went on to, I just made a schedule. And again, I was an athlete. I'm used to my schedule being handed to me. I'm used to my meal plan being handed to me. I'm used to me showing up and just being told what to do, go to training, blah, 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 everything. I didn't have to think about this. But I realized that as an athlete, right, we had a schedule. We had to show up to train at a certain time.
Consistency.
Correct. Discipline and success equals discipline and consistency over time. Like that's it. As long as you're disciplined and consistent over time, you'll be successful eventually. You just have to keep going.
It's just a matter of time.
Exactly. And sometimes people are like, yeah, but I need it now. And I'm like, well, that's just not how it works. Like, it's like, you know, you may want it right here, but it's not going to come till here. But as long as you're disciplined and consistent, it will come.
It will.
But you got to push.
Yeah.
And so that's what I did. I said, you know what? From 8 a.m. to 12 noon, I'm going to cold call. Like, that's what I'm going to do. I was like, for forever, this is what my plan was. This is cold call for 4 hours a day. Because, again, I heard somebody say that that's what they did and that's how they built their career, just by cold calling. I was like, all right. Then I had remember seeing some video of this person door knocking. And, oh, yeah, I make, you know, how I made millions in door knocking or something stupid like that. And I was like, okay, I'm going to door knock too. Like, if they're doing well with cold calling and door knocking, I'm going to do that. So I'm going to door knock at least 2 hours a day. That should hit me at least 100 doors a day, right? Is what I figured. It's like 80 to 100 doors I can hit in 2 hours. Depends on where you live, obviously, because some, you know, California, we got small lots. You know what I mean? Like, and then I remember going into one of the meetings in the office and walking in and sitting there for like one of these classes. And the lady was talking about how she does a super open house and how open houses get her all of her buyer leads. And I was like, okay, so I could do 2 of those every weekend. Like, I'll just do one of those on Saturday, one on Sunday, and I'll just door knock. So I made my schedule. My schedule was cold call 8 a.m. to 12 noon every day. Then like 12 to 1, I like had lunch / prepare for my door knocking. So like, look, it took me, you know, 10 minutes to eat a sandwich. Like, and you see those new videos. I don't know if you've seen them that on TikTok where like the guys try to eat at the girl's pace, their like girlfriend's pace, and then the girl tries to eat at the boyfriend's pace, and it's always like the girl like trying to shove her food down her throat because like the guy eats so fast. I'm like the extreme of that. I'm like just like eat quick and I'm on. Last of 5 kids, I didn't want my food taken from me. You know what I mean? So I'd eat, get ready for my door knocking, leave to my door knocking, and by 1 o'clock every day I was door knocking. And then I did that for 2 hours until 3 o'clock. And then after that, I did follow-up phone calls to any clients, any people that called me back, any door knocks that I hit handwritten letters that I wrote. And then I followed up with anybody at open houses. I did showings or whatever in the afternoons, in the evenings. And every Saturday, Sunday, I did open houses. 2 open houses, 11 to 4 every single day. And I did that my first year. And my first year, I had someone that he owned the office that I joined when I first got into real estate. It was a big box brokerage. And I remember he had a relation. He like knew my ex because my ex worked somewhere. I don't know. It was like some sort of connection. And so he was like, hey, let me help Cyrus. I'm going to take him to lunch. I'll talk to him. Right. So I go to lunch with him and I'm stoked. I'm like, hell yeah, I'm getting lunch with the owner of the number one office, you know, blah, blah, blah. Like, hell yeah. So I sit down with him because I was yearning for like some mentor in this thing. Right. And he goes, all right, talk to me about your goals. And I was like, all right, well, I want to do 10 million in my first year. I'm going to do this many calls. I'm going to do this. And he goes, okay, slow down. Let's talk about, you know, making realistic goals. And I was like, he goes, Cyrus, like a lot of people in this business, they get in this business, they think they can do all this and they get burnt out because they don't have realistic goals. Let's make realistic goals. People don't sell 10 million in their first year. So let's work that out so we can hit success. So we can be successful with our goal setting. And I looked at him and I like paused. And I don't drink. I don't do it. You know, I always have iced tea though, as you can tell. And I remember grabbing my iced tea and like looking at him, taking a sip of my iced tea and looking at him and being like, within 90 days, I'm going to be out of your office. He looked at me like, what do you mean? Are you stupid? And he was like, we're the number one office. At the time, it was the number one office.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, but if you're the one that's supposed to teach me how to get to sell 10 million, you don't believe I can, then it's not the right space for me. And he's just like, well, like that's your decision, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, yeah. So I'm like, shit, like, where am I going to go now? I just told the owner of the office I'm leaving, you know? And so again, I was taking in all this information, yada, yada, podcast, yada, yada. And I saw that like teams. And then I thought like independent brokerages at the time. I was like, boutique brokerages are doing really well. I was like, I'm gonna start my own independent brokerage. It's like 3 weeks in the business. Like, I'll just start my own brokerage. And so then I start studying, how do I start in brokerage? How do I operate? How does it move? Like and I realized like I just need a broker of record. Once I have a broker of record, it's starting a company, and then you hire a broker of record, and now you own a brokerage, right? Easier said than done, but that was my thought process. So that's what I did. So within 3 months of me getting my license, I opened an independent brokerage. I became one of the top independents for that first year. I cold called 4 hours a day, every single day. Took no days off, by the way. I cold called every single day. I door knocked every single day. I did 2 open houses every single day, and I ended up selling $30 million in my first year.
Sheesh.
So I tripled what he told me I couldn't do.
Just because somebody else hasn't done it doesn't mean that you can't do it.
100%, bro.
And he tried to put a limitation on your mindset, which he wasn't aware that there's no limits on your mind.
Exactly. And in his mind, right? And I don't fault him for it either, right? Because people, we learn from experiences in life. And and when people have an experience that, then sometimes people don't believe like, oh, things can go out of your experience, your realm, out of 100%. Your box, right? They believe that it's always how it is, how they experience, right? They have to see it to believe it.
Yeah.
And there's some people that say, you know what? I don't need to see it, but I believe it.
I'm the same way. Like I always tell people, don't limit my mind because I don't limit mine.
100%.
And I always see the bigger picture, and I always have the vision. Like here, like I envision all this. You know what I mean? Like I saw it. The podcast becoming successful, just having great guests like you on. I mean, we had Ricky Caruth on, Ally Quinta, UFC fighter, Ally Quinta on.
That's tight.
Like we've had so many amazing guests, but I knew that this was going to happen. Like I was just so confident. Even when people were like, "What are you doing a podcast for? Like, what's the point? Like what are you paying to promote other people for? Like, I don't get it." But I just like I see the end goal. I'm so focused on where I know where it's gonna go.
Yep.
That all that negativity was like, all right, they're gonna see later on.
Hell yeah.
And eventually they did. And they do. Tom Ferry on. We had Tom Ferry on. Like, it's just gonna go up from here. There's no limitations.
And it'll keep going up. Like, and that's the thing is like I always say like it's the same thought process. Like you got your box, but I don't need to fit in your box. Like no one creates my box. My box is a lot bigger than most people. And then when I get to the edge, I'm like, I think I could get bigger. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's how, like, as long as you I truly believe like whatever you believe you can accomplish, you can if you really truly put your mind to it and put all your energy to it. Sometimes people are like they get next to the pool and they put 1 foot in and they're like, yeah, this is good, I'm having fun. Or they put both feet in and they're just sitting there at the edge, right? And then there's people that jump in the deep end. And the people that jump in the deep end are swimming and hanging out. They're going to be a lot cooler than the people that are sitting outside.
I always say you'll never know how deep the pool is until you jump in.
Yeah, 100%. And like you have to, right? Like, but again, like it's all based on how people feel at the time of their lives, and everybody's going through something. So sometimes if somebody, and this is what I've learned, especially with like in the coaching realm, like some people are ready to put their feet in right now, and some people are ready to dive in. The people that are ready to dive in are going to win a lot quicker than the people that are ready to put their feet in. That doesn't mean that the people that put their feet in aren't going to be successful over time, right? But you have to keep going forward. You can't just stop.
I always say the bigger the risk, the bigger the reward.
100%.
I'm just going to jump right in. Let me ask you a question. Is everything that's going on nowadays, as far as like the NAR settlement, the new market that's going to come, is no commission out and everybody's freaking out. What are your thoughts on that? And what is your advice to agents who are in that scarcity or scared mindset? How do you come out of that?
Bro, it's like probably one of the most exciting things I've ever seen. Now, candidly, like again, like I got into this industry, I didn't know anything about it, right? I'm like, what the hell is going to happen? Yada yada. And then as I've gotten more and more into this industry, I realized like the worst markets create the best agents. Like the worst markets create the people that are here long term. When there's big changes, like when do you ever see an industry When do you ever see a freaking industry that has been around for as long as real estate industry has been around have this huge of a change? Like, it doesn't happen very often.
Only the strong is going to survive. You're going to see who's really built differently when your back's against the wall.
Oh, 100%. And so guess what? Like, we're seeing thousands and thousands of agents drop out, right? We're seeing in our local markets, those agents are no longer there. We're seeing the onesie, twosie agents fall out of the industry. It's a beautiful opportunity. Are you freaking kidding me? Think about it like this. I'm going to make a lot of people a lot of money right now, okay? Think about it like this. You have, in your MLS, you can look at who's done what transactions, right? And then usually in the MLS, there's something called MLS non-member. Right? And the MLS non-member means that those people were either an agent that's no longer active, or an agent that's no longer paying their dues, or they were an agent from outside MLS area, yada, yada, right? So I can easily go into my MLS, filter MLS non-member, find all the transactions that were done by MLS non-members, all of those buy transactions over the last 5 years. And now guess what I'm doing? I'm hitting up all of those people and start farming those people, because those are what we call, those orphan buyers.
Yeah.
Think about that.
That's $1 million. That's $1 million pitch right there.
Oh, hell yeah, bro. That's if you're not doing that right now, you are losing millions of dollars.
But that's thinking outside of the box too, which most people won't think in that perspective. So
no.
I like that idea a lot. That's clever.
Hell yeah, bro. Because then now you got to think, all these agents are falling out.
Yeah.
So what's happening to who is, those agents are the ones that my aunt's an agent, yada, yada, right? Those are the people that are going to be falling out. So now that Sally doesn't have her aunt that's an agent, who's she going to go to when she needs to sell her house?
The person that pops up the most, top of mind, the most consistent, the most educated, the one who provides the most value.
Hell yeah. So easily I can go and set up a postcard campaign going straight to them. I could start hitting those doors. I could start, that's if I'm getting in the business right now, I'm a brand new agent, that's what I'm hitting. That's my low hanging fruit. But a lot of people don't see that. A lot of people are scared right now and they're like, oh my gosh, I'm going to lose my business. How am I going to do this? How am I going to get paid? There's a huge opportunity right there. You're talking about seller leads? Are you kidding me? Like, you're talking about, oh, how am I gonna get paid? Blah blah blah. Well, that's your buy side. Don't worry about that. Go get seller leads. The lowest hanging fruit are seller leads right now, and you guys are all too worried about XYZ to go and find the way to find them. That's your $1 million pitch. I'm stoked about it. That's what we're doing.
Same here. When everything was going on, I was like, all right, this could be a little concerning. Then when I looked at the bigger picture, I'm like, there's so much opportunity, so much money to be made.
Hell yeah.
I mean, I just negotiated a crazy deal right now where it's like, I don't care what you're paying out. This is what my commission is.
Yeah.
You want the deal or not?
Yep.
And they were like, they finally caved in. They're like, okay.
Yeah. Well, and again, and then when you look at it, like the stronger negotiators are going to win too. And that's 100%. What the scary thing is as well, right? So it's going to get rid of the hobbyist agents, which is, it's a great thing for our industry, right? Because the hobbyist agents are the agents that just come in because they're like, oh, I can make some money, right? And they're not in it to make sure their clients are taken care of. They're not in it to make sure that they have the highest level of customer service, so on and so forth. Like, they're in it just to make some money. Mm-hmm. And those people aren't good for our industry, right? Because our industry is, how often do we get compared to all these other salespeople that people don't like?
Right.
Because, oh, they're sleazy, this. Well, not all agents are that way, right? But it's because of hobbyist agents that people think that way.
Right, because they're just thinking of that paycheck.
Correct.
They call it commission breath, right?
Yep.
They're just so, I want that check, I want that commission.
Correct.
Sign right here, sign right here, sign right here.
Yeah. And when you realize like the agents that are here for the long term, they're here for the long term. It's consistency and discipline over time.
I've gotten so many opportunities like, hey, I'm listening with this agent. I'm not happy with their services.
Oh, yeah.
Like all those calls. I mean,
oh, yeah.
And I made a good amount of money when COVID hit, post everything going nuts. Like, this is when everybody was scared. Like, the market's going to crash. Yeah. I called so many people that I had like a file cabinet of papers of people that I used to call. And I'm like, I'm going to follow up with them, see how they're doing. get toilet paper, Lysol, gloves, whatever you needed. And I made so much money in that time period.
Oh yeah,
because of that opportunity.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing is like when people are running, what's that saying? When people are running out of the burning building, like running in, like you're gonna have the best opportunity there. Like the reality is like right now, especially right now, we have a huge opportunity. And there's going to be other moments throughout people's careers that things are scary. But if we're here for the long term and we're here for longevity in this business, then we have no other option but to lean in. So we got to find the ways to be able to be successful in these markets. That's how you're going to continue to grow your business.
Right. And again, just staying in contact with people, staying top of mind. Like when I said that, I didn't mean I was taking advantage of the circumstances.
Yeah,
I was
100%.
just staying in touch with people.
Oh yeah.
Providing help to them, and they were just like, you know what, I want to get out of New York.
Yeah.
I want to go down south. I need more land. I need more property. Like people's circumstances always change, and I tell people that all the time. You have to stay in contact with people because circumstances always change.
Well, and that's the like when I'm, especially when I'm coaching, especially when I'm working with like newer agents, like to get this point across and understanding that like people don't buy or sell a house because of you. Like I could be the best salesperson in the world, which I am, right? But like I can walk into this room and I could pitch you on everything, but like you're not going to sell your house unless you actually need to sell your house. It doesn't matter like how great I make it sound, right? People sell their houses because of life changes in certain circumstances that they're going through. So this business is all relationship. This business is all long-term. This business is all touching and creating more relationships with more people over time, because when those circumstances do change, you want to be the one to call. They call 3 agents. Like I tell everybody, when people call to list houses, they call 3 different agents. They call the friend, right? They call the local neighborhood expert, and they call the celebrity agent. Those are your 3 agents they call. In order to get any listing and get them to sign, you just got to be 2 of those. So how are you going to become 2 of those things, right? How are you going to be the friend? That's the relationship, right? How are you going to be local neighborhood expert? That's the farming. That's the door knocking. That's all of that. How are you going to be the celebrity agent? By consistently putting yourself out there.
How big is social presence? Because that's huge.
I don't believe it. So like here's the crazy thing, because I have a huge social presence, right? Like candidly. But we control the first 5 things that show up on Google. You know how many times I meet somebody? I did it last weekend. I was training some agents, so I did open houses with like 5 of my agents so I could be there. And this guy's like talking, he's like, yeah, man, I'm going to be listing with Redfin. They charge 1.5%. He's like, your boy Nick said you guys charge 6%. I said, yes, I do. And he goes, well, how do you say it? I said, look, I'd love to come by your house and explain why we do what we do, but do me a favor, Google me. And then let me know if you'd like to have that meeting. And again, there's a whole psychology behind this, by the way. Like, think about it like this. What do we hate about salespeople typically? It's what you said earlier, commission breath.
Right. Too pushy.
It's desperate.
Yep.
Right. You think about what salespeople do we not like? So people that are like, you're walking in the mall and they are like, hey, let me clean your shoe. And they only clean one. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or like, here's this face lotion. You know what I mean? It's like, dude, leave me alone. You know what I mean? Every once in a while, I'm like, all right, I'll get this shoe clean, and maybe next time when I come around, I'll get them to clean the other one. You know what I mean? But like, it's like very rare that you're like, okay, I'm going to fall into this. They get some people sometimes, right? And it's that desperate, right? You go to the bar and somebody walks up to you and she's like, oh yeah, hey, blah, blah, blah. And you're like, I don't want that. I want the one that's looking at me, but doesn't look at me. You know, like I want the hard to get person, right? Like it's this whole thing. Like people don't like desperate people. So when you think about sales, right? Every agent wants somebody's business. But what if you could be that person how are you going to stand out from every other person? That's what I did. I knew he's like, oh, I have the golden ticket right here. I have a listing. All these agents want to work with me. I said, dude, this is what I charge. Let me know if you want to meet. Google me. And because I realized, guess what? The first 5 things on Google, I control. You control the first 5 things on Google. Everybody does. And people, agents are like, oh, well, I don't have a huge social presence. I don't have this. I don't have that. I'm like, okay, go on LinkedIn, create a LinkedIn profile. Boom, you're at the top. Go on Instagram, create an Instagram profile. Boom, you're at the top. Everything you want them to see is you control it. The best SEO, right, is you go on, when someone Googles you, your YouTube's going to show up first because Google owns YouTube. So go create a YouTube channel, put one video up about this is what you got to do about selling a house. So yes, social presence is important, but like you control those first 5 things. You don't need to have 100,000 followers. You don't need to have 20,000 followers. You don't need to have 1,000 followers. You just need to have something there so that when someone does Google you, you're showing up first.
100%. I mean, look, I was never on social media, and I got on social media when we started the podcast in 2021, and I was in the business since 2016. The doors that have opened for me just from being on social media and having
that's how we connected.
Yeah, exactly. Having an online presence is huge. Like now I'm closing deals of 1.9 million just from Instagram.
Yep.
Lady called me, online presence, want you to sell my house, 1.2 million. Then the neighbor's like, you're the neighborhood expert. You have a house here for sale, and I see all the cars come.
Yep.
Boom, sign the papers, almost $1 million house. I'm just
neighborhood expert, then celebrity agent, bro.
Yeah.
I'm telling you. So what you have to do is you figure out how you can be 2 of those 3 people, right? Every listing appointment. And again, that specific person, like I was the neighborhood expert because we were doing an open house in that neighborhood, yada, yada, yada. And then when he Googled me, he realized, oh, he's the celebrity agent as well. Right. And then he's like, okay, it's a no brainer. And then guess what? I focused on the relationship. I talked to him about his fiance's birthday. What are they going to do? He rides motorcycles. I'm talking, hey, we should go ride a motorcycle. Now I became the friend too. There's no way I'm not going to, I signed a 6% listing. Right? The agents that understand how to provide the value and show what they're doing are the ones that are going to win long term. But you got to understand, like this is not a short term game. It's like you said, like you got on social media in 2021, and like we're in 2024. We're talking about years later, and now you're getting those listings. But like when you first started, it wasn't just pouring in.
No, I had like 10 followers. Exactly. I was like 20 views. I'm like, damn, what am I doing? Like this is, but I stayed consistent because I had a game plan, and I was like, this is going to work.
100%.
This is going to work.
And again, like I said, like we control most things that show up on Google anyways. Like everything, all those other articles, all the other stuff that people are like, like my pages just go deeper than most people. But like, the first 5 things are what everybody looks at anyways. How often do you go to second page on Google?
Rarely. Yeah. So
you don't.
Whatever pops up on the first page.
Go create a Google business profile as an agent. Create a LinkedIn profile. Create an Instagram profile. You already probably have Facebook, right? And then you create a YouTube. Those are the first 5 things that are going to show up. So now you put whatever content you want the consumer to see right there. You're going to show up. When people Google you, they're going to be like, oh my gosh, this agent's huge. You're going to have 10 followers on each one. Like, seriously, that's
perception is reality nowadays.
Yep. 100%.
But man, so much value you gave us, man. So much insight. Anything else that you could leave us off with? Any, last minute gems, anything that you can share?
Honestly, like, I think just like, don't stop, keep going.
Yeah.
Like the biggest thing that I could tell any agent and anybody in business, anybody in life, like, don't stop, keep going, because like it will, as long as you do, it will get better. Whatever situation you're in, you want it to be better, it will be better as long as you keep going.
Awesome, man. Where can people reach out to you? Where can people DM you? Coaching, advice,
The easiest place to reach out to me is Instagram. It's at Cyrus Andre, CyrusAndre. CyrusMohseni.com, CyrusMohseni.com. Either one of those you can reach out to me on.
Awesome, man. Well, this is the latest episode of Real Estate and Chill. Make sure you guys hit subscribe. Another $1 Million episode. Anything you guys want to ask, make sure you DM us, comment, share this episode with everybody. We got to let the money go one last time. Let's go.